The stars have always whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. And among their many tales are those of worlds that once thrived, now lost in the vast expanses of the universe. These aren't just worlds forgotten by time or history. These are civilizations that arose in distant galaxies, beyond the reach of even the most advanced technologies of our time. They are the lost worlds, ancient societies that flourished in far-flung corners of the cosmos before vanishing without a trace, leaving behind mysteries as vast and unfathomable as the galaxies themselves. From the earliest days of human curiosity, the concept of life beyond our planet has been a tantalizing thought. But while many gaze up at the stars imagining alien visitors or far-off planets with basic life forms, there's a deeper, more profound question that lingers in the minds of those who dare to wonder. What if there were entire civilizations that once existed beyond our galaxy? Civilizations that not only developed, but thrived. Advanced, complex societies that built towering structures, forged remarkable technologies, and explored the stars just as we seek to do. Imagine for a moment a world suspended in the gravitational pull of a distant star, thousands of light years away from the Milky Way. On that world, long before Earth even knew of the concept of civilization, a society rose to prominence. Perhaps they walked on two legs like humans, or perhaps their form was entirely different, adapted to the unique atmospheric conditions, gravity, and resources of their world. Their evolution was shaped not by the factors we know on Earth, but by the alien forces of their own galaxy. These were beings not just of a different world, but of a different cosmic era. In the quiet darkness of space, far from the reaches of human telescopes, these lost civilizations built their societies. They might have had cities that glittered beneath strange stars, made of materials unknown to us. Their histories would have been etched in their own forms of communication, languages, symbols, and art that we could never comprehend. Their cultures, like ours, may have revered the stars, understanding on an intrinsic level the power and significance of the celestial bodies that governed their lives. Some might speculate that these lost worlds were part of vast intergalactic alliances, a network of civilizations spanning multiple galaxies. Imagine a federation of advanced species, each contributing knowledge, technology, and culture to a collective understanding of the universe. These alliances may have engaged in intergalactic trade, exchanging resources between galaxies, or even shared scientific advancements that allowed them to transcend the limits of space and time. The idea of such a cosmic society, interconnected and thriving, sends a thrill through the mind. What would they have achieved? How did they live? And more hauntingly, what caused their downfall? For every civilization that rises, there comes a moment of decline. History on Earth is rife with the tales of great empires that once stood mighty, only to fall into obscurity, their ruins swallowed by time. But these lost civilizations of other galaxies didn't just crumble, they disappeared from existence. Was it war, fought on a scale unimaginable to human minds? Or did a cosmic disaster, a supernova, a black hole, or a galactic collision obliterate them, leaving only dust and echoes in the void? Perhaps their technology reached such heights that they unintentionally destroyed themselves, falling victim to the very advancements they had once prided themselves on. And yet, the greatest mystery isn't just how these civilizations fell, but why we know so little about them. Even with our most powerful telescopes and space probes, the depths of other galaxies remain largely inaccessible to us. Could it be that these lost worlds are hidden behind cosmic curtains, veils of dark matter or energy that make their detection impossible? Or perhaps their civilizations were so advanced that they left no trace behind, transcending physical existence altogether, leaving behind only the faintest whispers in the fabric of space-time. In the minds of those who ponder these mysteries, the allure of these lost civilizations is more than just an intellectual curiosity. It's a profound journey into the unknown. What if the very answers to our own existence lie within the histories of these forgotten societies? What if they had unlocked the secrets of the universe, discovered the meaning of life, the nature of reality, or the keys to interdimensional travel. To think that all of this knowledge, all of this potential is lost to us is both tantalizing and heartbreaking. But for those who seek, there are always clues, even in the emptiness. Some scientists speculate that the faint signals we pick up from deep space, those strange repetitive pulses and anomalies in cosmic radiation, could be remnants of these lost civilizations. Perhaps they left behind beacons or messages, hoping that one day someone would find them and understand. Could it be that somewhere out there, in the void between galaxies, lies a relic of an ancient world, a beacon waiting to be discovered? The search for these lost worlds has only just begun, and while we may never set foot on the planets where these civilizations once thrived, or speak with the beings that built them, the idea that they existed at all is enough to fuel our imaginations. Every time we look up at the night sky, we are reminded of how small we are in the grand scale of the universe, but also of how much there is left to explore. Somewhere, beyond the reach of our technology and our understanding, the stories of these lost civilizations wait to be uncovered. These lost worlds, hidden in the folds of time and space, are more than just the remnants of long-forgotten societies. They are a testament to the endless possibilities that the universe holds. They remind us that no matter how much we think we know, there is always more to discover, more to learn, and more to imagine. And as we continue to explore the cosmos, it's the mysteries of these ancient civilizations that will keep pushing us forward, driving us to look beyond our own world and into the stars, where the secrets of the universe still lie, waiting to be found. In the silent reaches of the cosmos, where light from distant stars takes millions of years to traverse the vast distances of space, the seeds of civilizations were sown. These weren't just ordinary civilizations, like those we know on Earth. These were beings who arose in faraway galaxies, under conditions alien to anything humans have ever imagined. To understand their origins is to understand the very fabric of the universe itself, for their birth was not the product of random chance, but the culmination of cosmic forces that shaped their destiny. When we think of civilizations, we often imagine our own path, humans evolving from simple organisms into complex societies with fire, tools, and language as the markers of progress. But in other galaxies, evolution followed different paths, dictated by forces unique to those worlds. The story of these civilizations begins with their stars, for it is the stars that give birth to planets, and it is on those planets that life, strange, diverse, and wondrous, takes root. Imagine for a moment a galaxy far removed from our own. Its stars burn in hues unknown to us, deep violets, blues, and greens, due to the unique chemical compositions in their atmospheres. In this galaxy, the gravitational forces are different, the radiation levels distinct. Everything is slightly off-kilter compared to the Milky Way, and it is in these conditions that the first traces of life emerge. But unlike the fragile organisms of Earth, the life forms that arise here are adapted to thrive in environments far harsher than we could imagine. On some planets, they evolve in the light of twin suns, their biology equipped to handle the constant bombardment of radiation. On others, life arises beneath thick layers of ice, far from the warmth of their star, using geothermal energy as their source of life. These beings are as varied as the stars themselves. Some develop in vast oceans, their bodies streamlined for swimming through the thick alien waters of their home planets. Others live in the thin atmospheres of rocky worlds, their forms adapted to the low oxygen levels and harsh climates. The diversity of life in these distant galaxies is infinite, each species shaped by the unique conditions of their homeworld. Some are carbon-based like us, while others are silicon-based, or even rely on elements unknown to us. As life evolves, so too does intelligence. But intelligence doesn't always mean what we think it does. Some of these galactic civilizations may have developed minds far beyond our understanding, minds that think not in words or symbols, but in pure energy, communicating through pulses of light or waves of sound. Their consciousness could be collective, shared among all members of their species, or it could be entirely individual, each being existing in isolation, like the stars in the sky. The rise of civilization for these beings did not follow the same patterns we recognize. On Earth, humanity's first steps toward civilization involved agriculture, settlements, and the domestication of animals. But in the vast expanses of other galaxies, the civilizations that arose were often born of necessity in environments that demanded survival in ways we can scarcely comprehend. Imagine a civilization that developed on a planet with no land, only oceans stretching for thousands of kilometers. These beings, fluid in both body and mind, might have developed technologies that allowed them to manipulate water currents and communicate through complex sound waves that traveled for miles under the sea. Their cities, if they could be called that, were not physical structures but vast networks of energy fields, invisible to the naked eye, but detectable by the subtle vibrations they created in the water. On another world, where the atmosphere was thin and the surface temperature scorching, a species might have evolved to live beneath the planet's crust. Their cities were sprawling underground labyrinths, built not of stone or metal, but of organic materials that grew and adapted to their needs. These beings communicated through touch, sending pulses of energy through the walls of their living cities, which responded by shifting and growing in accordance with their desires. But it wasn't just the environments that shaped these civilizations. It was also the very nature of the galaxies they inhabited. Some galaxies are more densely packed with stars than our own, meaning that the planets in these galaxies are closer together. This proximity allowed for early interplanetary travel, with civilizations spreading across their entire galaxy in a matter of centuries, establishing vast networks of trade, communication, and culture. In other galaxies, where stars are more sparsely spread, civilizations developed in isolation, each one existing on a single planet, unaware of the others that existed light years away. These civilizations might have been introspective, focusing inward on the development of their own minds and bodies, rather than outward on the conquest of space. They might have achieved incredible feats of biological and psychological evolution, far surpassing anything humans have ever imagined. There are theories that some of these civilizations were not bound by physical bodies at all. In certain regions of space, where the energy fields are particularly strong, it is thought that civilizations of pure energy might have arisen. These beings, if they can even be called that, would have no need for physical matter. Instead, they would exist as waves of energy, traveling across their galaxies at the speed of light, communicating through subtle shifts in the cosmic background radiation. These energy-based civilizations might be responsible for some of the strange signals we pick up from deep space, pulses of radio waves or bursts of gamma radiation that seem to follow no known pattern. To us, these signals are nothing more than cosmic noise, but to these civilizations, they are the very essence of communication. A language that spans light years, spoken in the very fabric of the universe itself. The evolution of these civilizations wasn't just physical or technological, it was also philosophical. On many of these worlds, the beings who arose from the primordial soup of their home planets developed deep, complex belief systems centered around the stars and the cosmos. Their religions, if they can be called that, might have been based on the movements of the galaxies themselves, with entire civilizations building their cultures around the orbits of stars or the alignment of black holes. Some civilizations might have viewed the universe as a living entity, with galaxies as its organs and stars as its heartbeat. These beings would have sought not just to explore the universe, but to understand their place within it, to connect with the larger cosmic forces that shape their existence. They may have developed rituals and practices designed to tap into the energy of the stars, believing that by aligning themselves with the cosmos, they could achieve enlightenment or even transcend their physical forms. Others might have seen the universe as a chaotic, hostile place, full of danger and uncertainty. These civilizations would have focused on survival, developing technologies designed to protect them from the harsh realities of space. They might have built vast shields to protect their planets from cosmic radiation or developed spacecraft capable of traveling between galaxies in search of resources or refuge. In some cases, these civilizations might have reached such heights of technological advancement that they became indistinguishable from gods. They may have developed the ability to manipulate the fabric of space-time itself, bending the laws of physics to their will. These civilizations could travel not just through space, but through time, skipping across the millennia as easily as we walk from one room to another. They may have even created entire new universes, pocket dimensions where they could exist outside the constraints of our own reality. But with such power comes great danger. Some of these civilizations may have reached a point where their technology outpaced their understanding, leading to catastrophic consequences. They might have torn holes in the fabric of space-time, creating black holes that swallowed entire star systems. Or they may have triggered galaxy-wide wars, with civilizations battling for control over the finite resources of their universe. The origins of these galactic civilizations are as varied and complex as the galaxies they inhabit. Each one arose under different circumstances, shaped by the unique forces of their environment, their galaxy, and their own evolution. Some flourished, spreading across the stars and achieving unimaginable heights of power and knowledge. Others fell into obscurity, their civilizations lost to the endless void of space. But the one thing they all share is the mystery of their existence. These civilizations, whether they still exist or have long since disappeared, represent the limitless potential of the universe. The idea that life can arise anywhere, under any conditions, and that each civilization that does is a unique reflection of the cosmos itself. Deep in the galactic expanse lurk civilizations whose cultures and technologies defy the limits of human imagination. Within each of these alien cultures lies a story of progress, achievement, and challenge that surpasses anything recorded in Earth's history. But unlike our own, these civilizations evolved in radically different circumstances, on worlds with toxic atmospheres, under the light of dying stars, or on planets whose giant moons alter the tides and shape their geographies in unpredictable ways. The technologies and cultures that have flourished on these alien worlds not only reflect their cosmic origins, but also point to levels of sophistication and development that seem almost magical to the human eye. When we think of extraterrestrial technologies, our minds immediately think of spaceships, lasers, or autonomous robots. And yes, these civilizations would have developed extraordinary forms of transportation, communication, and defense. But that's just the surface of what we can imagine. Each civilization would have shaped its technology based on the needs imposed by its environment. On planets where gravity is immense, their constructions would be vast, but anchored in a completely different way, possibly taking advantage of the planet's own gravitational force to create floating structures, suspended in the air like gigantic living cities. At the other extreme, imagine a civilization that inhabits a planet without an atmosphere, completely exposed to the vacuum of space. Its inhabitants, if organic, would need complex suits that not only kept their bodies in thermal equilibrium and provided oxygen, but also integrated advanced communication systems. Their suits could have biomimetic characteristics, growing and adapting according to the body's needs, or even capable of regenerating damaged parts. Instead of a society of metallic robots as we envision in our science fiction visions, these beings could have evolved to merge with their own machines, creating a perfect synergy between the biological and the technological. In the most advanced civilizations, technology would not be something separate from their existence. It would be part of their essence, almost like an extension of the body. Imagine, for example, a culture in which its inhabitants do not need physical devices to access information, because they have developed neural technologies so advanced that each member of society is connected to a planetary or even intergalactic network of knowledge and communication. Their minds would be always in sync, processing data at incalculable speeds, making decisions in fractions of a second. For them, the concept of solitude, privacy, or even individuality, as we understand it, would be alien. These technologies would not be limited to communication alone. In some of these civilizations, the manipulation of matter and energy itself would have advanced to a point where they could alter the composition of materials at will. Instead of building buildings with bricks and mortar, they could reconfigure the atoms at their base, creating instantaneous structures capable of dynamically adjusting to environmental conditions or the needs of their inhabitants. Their cities could be living entities, growing and expanding in line with population growth, or changing shape to adapt to changing planetary conditions. Imagine a civilization that inhabited a world in constant tectonic transformation. Rather than fighting the instability of their planet, they would have developed technologies that would allow their cities to walk, towering mega-constructions that move like giant creatures, floating above the surface of the planet, avoiding earthquakes or moving to more habitable areas when necessary. Their inhabitants could live in synergistic harmony with these living megacities, manipulating the environment around them with pure energy tools, using magnetic or gravitational fields to shape mountains, rivers, and valleys at will. But the technology of these civilizations would not be merely functional. It would be an extension of their culture, a reflection of their values and beliefs. For many of these beings, their technological innovations could have spiritual significance, integrating themselves into religious rituals, belief systems, and artistic expressions. Rather than viewing science and faith as opposites, they could have fused the two inseparably. Imagine, for example, a civilization that worships the stars not only as divine symbols, but as sources of energy. They would have developed technology to directly capture stellar energy, feeding their cities and their bodies with the strength of the stars they worship. Their temples, instead of physical buildings, would be fields of pure energy, shining in the nights of their distant worlds with chants and rituals. Dosed in frequencies of light and sound that echo through the heavens. Art in such civilizations would also not be limited to physical sculptures or paintings as we know them. Instead, their art could be multidimensional, manipulating the reality around them in ways that defy our understanding. Imagine beings who create living works of art, sculptures made of light and energy that change and evolve over time. Their works of art would not be static, but continuous events, unfolding over thousands of years, telling stories through shapes and colors that change as the ages pass. The music of these worlds might not be made of audible sounds, but of vibrations that reverberate through the invisible layers of space-time. These cultures might compose symphonies that are felt rather than heard, waves of energy that pass through their bodies, altering their emotional and mental states, connecting them deeply to their ancestors, the universe, and each other. In some cases, such art could transcend the confines of a single world. Advanced civilizations could project their artistic and cultural expressions into space itself, creating celestial phenomena that could be observed from light years away, a form of cosmic art destined to endure for millennia. These galactic societies, with their incredibly rich cultures, would also have philosophies of life that might be incomprehensible to us. Imagine a civilization that lived for millions of years. For them, time would not have the same meaning as it does for humans. Their perception of the past, present, and future would be much more fluid. They could plan and carry out projects that would take eons to complete, such as terraforming planets or building galactic megastructures that spanned generations. Their concepts of morality, politics, and justice would be formed over millennia, perhaps without ever needing to engage in internal conflict. Conflict itself might be a thing of the past for civilizations that learned to synchronize their existence with the universal tides. On the other hand, not all galactic civilizations would be peaceful. Some would have developed weapons technologies so advanced that they could destroy entire star systems in a single blow. Imagine a civilization with the power to manipulate black holes, creating, moving, and controlling these devastating forces of the universe. For them, war would not be fought with soldiers or physical weapons, but with control of the fundamental forces of reality itself. Such civilizations could send out gravitational waves that would collapse planets, or use stars as weapons, triggering controlled stellar explosions that would annihilate everything in their path. These alien cultures and their incredible technologies, created out of the need to adapt to their unique galactic environments, challenge us to imagine a future in which technological innovation and cultural development go hand in hand. For them, the universe would not be a simple dwelling place or expanse of resources. It would be a living, breathing entity that they could touch, shape, and in some cases, worship. Yet the greatest legacy of these lost galactic civilizations is the vastness of the universe itself. As we gaze up at the stars and gaze out across the countless galaxies, we cannot help but wonder how many other civilizations, similar or different from our own, have risen, flourished, and eventually fallen. Their legacies may be all around us, in the unseen forces that shape the universe, and in the mysteries we have yet to unravel.